It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 coming back at you for that Monday night boxing recap known as the Shoe Shine. Joining me all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia's Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa, Drew? Good to have you, man.
What's up, bitches?
Who are you beefing with now? By the way, saludos everybody. I apologize. It happened again. It's the third time in like a month that this computer has crashed. This has been my go-to streaming computer. I'm using another one for the music shit. And obviously I need to get rid of this one and transfer everything because it's crashed again as soon as I launched the intro. So I apologize about that, guys. I'm going to edit that out. But I got some exciting news. I got the phone line set up today, and for good reason, man, because we just saw Fight of the Year, potentially. It's going to be really hard to edge that one. And Knockout of the Year, even though shout out to Lucas Body of Canada. He had a pretty good contender as well. That all remains to be seen how many more people get viciously knocked out this year. But Drew, 22 rounds of championship level boxing, and I had fantastic seats with all the homies, my wife and we had an amazing experience at the Mandalay Bay this weekend, and I was shocked as soon as I got out to fight that Elvinala Lopez got knocked the F out. What is happening in the sport, man? Shout out to everybody. Hey, if you're going to be disrespectful, you're going to get blocked in here really quickly. So anyways, saludos everybody joining us in here. Chicano Prophet, Nando Lamas, shout out to Wile Coyote. Let's get right into it, Drew. Wow.
He's jealous because his girl had the BWC last night.
All right. a very hot argument. Hey, man, this is a hotly contested fight. I'm going to tell you guys right now, my experience sitting there at very close to ringside. And by the way, guys, make sure you guys keep supporting that one video. Hit it again. It's at 1,500 views for the 12th round. I got way more video. I got pictures. In fact, I got pictures with Jose Castillo, man. I told Castillo, man, you beat Floyd Mayweather. You know you beat him. Got pictures with Castillo. Who else did I run into? I ran into Capetillo boxing gym. What a sweetheart of a coach, man. A famed coach here in Las Vegas who got assaulted by, was it Nate Diaz's team, man? What's up with that, man? In the fight with Masvidal, I ran into him. A great time to be had all. Very difficult to score the fight live, Drew. This was a huge pro Virgil Ortiz crowd. Then you had the crowd fired up because Turki Al-Sheikh was a surprise guest. And Tim Tszyu was sitting right by the ringside. And let me be honest with you, man. I don't think Tim Tszyu took kindly, and his team took kindly to what was coming out of Turki's mouth. And to be honest, everybody around me seems like, maybe they're starting to get a little bit sick of Turki. But Oscar and Turki, hey, they was pretty damn close, man, because they really want that fight. Virgil Ortiz versus Terrence Bud Crawford. And you're usually looking at me crazy. I'm hearing things that the fight is being finalized between Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora, who I also saw, and shout out to his sister, who was victorious. Gabriela Fundora was victorious. What's going on in this 154-pound division? Listen, Terrence Bud Crawford needs to be fighting the winner of the IBF title between Tim Tszyu and Bakram. Like that, I don't know, but somehow they want Bud Crawford, who is the much bigger star, in my opinion, even though he doesn't sell well. They want him to fight Virgil Ortiz for his interim title. Shit don't make no sense to me. But Drew, let me have your take on the fight, how it transpired, and how you scored it.
Nando, you never had a wench. I can't give you a wench or take you a wench. I said you should have a wench. But
oh, listen, I'll get to that, guys. Now that we got 1,050 something subs, I'm definitely going to be making sure that you guys have ranches, the ones that deserve it. So I'll get on to that, man, for sure. And by the way, the phone line is open too if you guys want to call in. The invitation is open to any of you guys.
I watched the fight. It was a great fight and everything. Like, I scored it, detailed it, and everything. I had Bobacek winning 115 to 111. I really think that there is no way in hell Virgil Ortiz won more than 5 rounds in that fight. And if we're going to look at it, if we're going to look at scoring here, in the type of fight it was, that the close rounds, and a lot of people say this. I talked to someone that's a judge. He said, normally when I see a fight like this and the fights and the rounds are close and everything, I really go by who's forcing the other guy on the back foot. And he said that in the close rounds that he had Bobacek in, he said that mainly because Bobacek was the one that was actually backing Virgil up a lot in the fight. Even though Virgil had Bobacek hurt, Bobacek kept coming forward and everything. He didn't back Bobacek up at all in the fight. Virgil Ortiz was the one that was on the back foot half of that fight. And the thing about it is, most of his connect percentage output came in a certain couple rounds. And the thing about it is, his punch output dropped in certain rounds. And like, I don't understand. Like, here's the thing: we're in a phone booth fight, in one of those fights that you're gonna constantly keep everything like, you know. I don't see. Here's the thing: Virgil Ortiz did not win no more than 5 rounds in this fight. He didn't. And they almost didn't even credit him with the knockdown. And he had 2 of them. And I really think that this fight, if this was an Eddie Hearn pay-per-view, an Eddie Hearn event, if this was a top rank event, if this was anything that probably wasn't really the Golden Boy or Turkish, I think we would have got the Bobacek decision. And I agree with what people are saying. I agree with what people are saying, that they gave it to Virgil basically because they're trying to make the Terence Crawford fight. But that's still iffy. Virgil, people are saying Virgil wants to fight the winner of Fundora and Spence. There's some people say he wants to fight Crawford, but I don't think it makes any sense for him to fight Crawford right now. Oscar, I think they were backpedaling a little bit on it. But I really think if Oscar is looking at this, he's never going to be ready for Terence Crawford. Doesn't matter if he's ready or not. In my opinion, and a lot of people think, he's never going to be ready for Terence Crawford. But hey, we should match him up now and everything. But if we look at it, I think part of Oscar doesn't want to match him up with Terence because if Terence wins easily, Virgil's stock falls dramatically. But I look at another thing. I think he's looking at this. If I go let him fight for the WBC title, I'm taking a huge risk if he fights Fundora. It's a 50-50 fight. And I don't know. I can't guarantee he's going to win. And I'm going to be honest. I give the slight edge with Virgil and Fundora. I give the slight edge to Fundora in a fight like that. In a
phone booth fight?
In any type of fight, I will give Fundora a slight edge.
If you guys forgot, Fundora had that kind of a phone booth fight with the, what's the guy that ducked Tim Tszyu twice? Erickson Lubin. And he ripped the dude's face up. And shout out to Fonzie619 who sat with me, man, as we were going into that final round. Even he said, I'll put you on blast, but man, he was thinking that Bobacek was up on the cards. But, you know, I want to say something because I made a video, an instant reaction video from Mandalay Bay. Drew, we didn't know about that first round. Everybody around me was like, man, this shit is shady. He definitely dropped Virgil in round 1. We didn't know. We didn't have, because we weren't hearing to commentary, we had no idea that they had used instant replay and awarded that. So we also weren't even I wasn't paying close attention. And we thought that the second knockdown, flash knockdown in the 9th round or 8th round, we also didn't know that that was scored a knockdown. So my instant response coming out of that was genuine. I really thought Virgil Ortiz had won, but mainly because in my mind, they hadn't scored those 2 knockdowns. Now knowing after leaving the event, finding out that both of those knockdowns were scored, I'm like, well, that could have really been a draw, depending on those swing rounds. I agree with that one judge that it could have been a draw, and it also could have been in the other direction for Bohacek. You know, that thing, if one guy had given it to Bohacek with the exact scorecard of, what was it, 114, 112, and the other judge given it to Virgil, 114, 112, you would have walked away with a majority draw on that fight. And even people were commenting, if any fight deserved no losers, it was this fight. But I got to give Virgil Ortiz his flowers, man, because I've never seen somebody get flash knocked down like that and come back with such veracity as he did in round 1. If there was a way to score the round, a lot of people are like, oh, it was 10-9, but there's really no such thing as 10-9 or whatever. Look, he lost that round because he got knocked down. He also lost that other round. That was a fight. That round was incredible, Drew. That was practically round of the year where he rallied back after being knocked down the second time. I see the phone lines are up. I'll let Drew finish this point, and I'm picking up the phone, guys.
I look at it like this, that I think people got to stop. Oh, we got to give him a 10-9 and everything, 9-8. I'm like, no. He got knocked down. That's a 10-8 round. And stop, like seriously, he got caught and everything. Like, if we want to do that, we have to go back in time to everything and do that shit. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, how could you give Virgil Ortiz 8 rounds? There's no fucking way. Like, it's bullshit. Those cards were bullshit. The draw card I'm cool with, but the 2 other cards, they gave him like 8 rounds.
Yeah, I hear that, man. We got 503 on the phone. What you want to say?
What's happening, fellas? It's Chicano Prophet calling in.
What's good, Chicano, man? What's your thoughts on this, man? It was to me, is a leading fight of the year contender. What about you?
Dude, definitely fight of the year, man. I'm glad you were in the house. The crowd looked lit, you know. You know what? And I want to say, one of the main reasons I'm calling is I want to congratulate my homies. 1,000 subscribers, man. Really happy for you guys, you know. And so as far as the fight goes, bro, like, I didn't score it live, right? I was just watching the fight, and then I scored it the next day. I felt like, personally, this is just my take, it was a draw. I felt like it was a draw, and I did score those knockdowns, 10-8 rounds. I'm glad they were counted as knockdowns. Now, I do think Virgil Ortiz has a bit of a balance problem when he gets overexcited, but I wouldn't call him chinny. I wouldn't call him chinny just yet. There's nothing to prove that he's chinny. I think he's going to be a real player at 154. And I think that the opponent, I think he got someone to the benefit of the doubt in some of these rounds because he was making a good account of himself. I think sometimes when the B side does that, it can kind of look a little more swayed, kind of like with Crawford. People were like, oh, but if you look at that fight, maybe Crawford did better than you think. But since the other guy did good, I'm not saying that's what everybody's scoring like. I trust Drew's scorecard. I know he knows what he saw. But I just think that there's a chance that maybe people are giving Bohacek a little bit too much credit for his work in the fight.
Well, I agree with you. Everybody debating whether or not Virgil Ortiz is chinny. I've never seen somebody fight back like that. He wasn't hurt in either of those flash knockdowns. But I will give credit to Bohacek, who's done something nobody else has done, is to put Virgil Ortiz on the floor, even if it's momentarily. And the fact that Bohacek could take that up. You had to be there to hear these body punches from Virgil Ortiz. Everybody around me was kind of in awe at the sound of those body punches that were landing on Bohacek. I don't understand. Not only does he have a granite chin like Gennady Golovkin, but his body, his abdominal, his core strength is insane. Virgil Ortiz has knocked out people just like that with body shots, right? Along his entire career, nobody's made it 12 rounds.
But here's the thing with Virgil. I think in the 11th round, I think he got a little too cute and everything, and he got caught. He got caught with a good shot, and it kind of hurt him and everything. His defense is not there. You're not going to expect defense with Virgil. Like the bopping and reaping, you're not going to expect that he's not too good at it. And that's why I'm saying that if he's not in a firefight and a guy that can actually box him and then counter shot him, he's in a rude away. He's in going to be in a world of trouble. That's why Drew has his new. If he fights Terence Crawford, it's easy work for Terrence Crawford. It,
I
it's
gotta,
easy.
I gotta see
I'm
that
sorry,
cue card
but
again.
I will keep him far away from Terrence Crawford as possible unless I win the WBC title and get a unification belt and make more money. And I believe it's actually a lot better fight if it's a unification fight, because I'm telling you, Terrence Crawford easily beats Virgil Ortiz. I'm sorry, it's just how it is. I'm not a
Interesting.
hater. You guys can say I'm a hater all I want, but if you want to call me a hater, hey, bite me.
Let me
But-
ask you, Drew, and then I'll ask Chicano the same question. Do you think Terrence Crawford will have an easier time with an offensive punching machine like Virgil Ortiz than he did with Madrimov? Because he didn't have an easy time with Madrimov, and Madrimov wasn't throwing anywhere the kind of volume that Virgil can throw.
I think he
Well,
has
okay.
a lot.
Sorry, Drew. Go ahead, man.
I think he's going to have an easier time with Virgil because Virgil is flat-footed. He's not awkward. Virgil is a straight head guy and everything, and Virgil's going to be easy to counter. That's why I said it's going to be a very easy fight for Crawford, because Virgil is head movement, defense, all-around defense. He's going to get countered, and his defense is not good at all. He's too flat-footed. He's going to get hit a lot, Virgil, and he's not going to be able to have the success of hitting Crawford like he having other guys, because we can say it or not, but Crawford punches are going to hurt him. And we see it like this, him going 12 rounds wasn't really best for him right now. And if he goes, and let's say this goes another 12 rounds and everything, the longer this fight lasts, the better I said Bobacek was, and I think the Virgil is off, because he's not a 12-round fighter. He lasted 12 rounds. Thank God for that.
And I'm giving them credit. That 12th round was fantastic. There was a gap in the action in the 12th round that benefited Virgil, as it seemed like Virgil was the one throwing more punches and was running out of gas. But, I mean, it was impressive. Chicano, what about you? You think that Terrence Crawford is going to have an easier time with Virgil Ortiz than he did with Madrimov?
No, not at all. I think Madrimov is a bit overrated. And I also think Crawford, in his career moving up, man, like I think that we're giving him too much credit as far as his KO ability goes. I mean, we've already seen that his power probably doesn't carry up to 154. Like Madrimov he wasn't going anywhere, dude, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and on top of that too, I think Spence, that wasn't the same Spence. Yeah, he knocked out Porter, but I mean Porter was washed, and Porter didn't get knocked out. He just kind of got put down a couple times. All I'm saying is this is a much different weight class, and Crawford has never had to face somebody who's got that youthful aggression, right? Now, I'm not saying Ortiz can carry this style till he's like 32, but right now he's well-preserved, he's young, he's hungry. This type of style, Crawford's never encountered anything like it. And this idea that Bud Crawford is just going to, lend to him being able to counterpunch, great. That would make for a good fight. But as far as, like, loading up, I don't think Crawford's got that pop, man. I'll sign off, guys. I'll be listening to the rest of the way.
Yeah, I
Peace.
appreciate the call, Chicano.
I gotta disagree with him. Madrimov is not a bum. And number two, young conservative, I gotta disagree with that too. We look at it like this. He had all these fucking problems with making weight, all this issue that he had and everything, this inactivity. And when he's there, he didn't have that much work to deal with and everything. This is the only time he's went 12 rounds. And tell you the truth, this is the only time he's been past 5 rounds in the past 3 or 4 years.
That's true. That's true. Drew, by the
So-
way, Drew, did you see the video of the Eastern European fighters? And Madrimov was included on that reel on social media on Twitter of them doing their footwork drills. They look like they look like breakdancers. They got better moves than that Australian girl breakdancing in the Olympics.
Here's the thing. When I say Madrimov beats everybody at 154 except Crawford, I meant it. I think he beats everybody at 154 but Crawford.
Newsflash,
I think
Madrimov?
This style of his is unpredictable. The dude can box. He's like, I think people are trying to downgrade Madrimov, and it's a shame.
I thought people were pretty fair and gave him his flowers. I thought he did better than expected. I thought his stock rose. He was an unknown champion. But, comparing him to Bohacek that I've seen in there with some really good names that are well-known like Brian Mendoza, and now we saw him go toe-to-toe with Virgil Ortiz and arguably maybe beat Virgil or get a draw, I would rate Bohacek as a better fighter than Madrimov, but I want to see those two guys fight. I'm glad you're bringing him up, Drew, because I don't care who you put. Like, I can't even tell you who the top 5 fighters at 154 are. Maybe you can, because their list is growing it's growing every day. You've got 3 champions.
I look at it like this. I got Crawford, Madrimov, Sue, Fundora, and like I will put Bohacek at number 5.
So you don't put Virgil Ortiz in the top 5. You put Bohacek ahead of him because, again, you think Bohacek won that. So naturally you would put 6. Well, that's crazy. If you guys want to try to put that in the chat, let me know who your top 5 154-pound fighters are. I'm guessing I feel like it remains to be seen if Terrence Bud Crawford is going to walk away cleaning out this division, because from what I saw in his fight against Madrimov, I think he's going to struggle with all of them to some degree. He's going to struggle with the height of Fundora. He's going to struggle with the explosiveness, relentlessness of Virgil Ortiz. He's going to struggle with Tim Tszyu. That's a fair fight. Tim Tszyu is very fundamentally sound. I think all of those guys represent a solid 50-50 fight to some extent. So I don't even know if Bud beats them all, but I don't disagree too much with your top 5 list. If you guys want to put who you think are your top 5, I think I put Madrimov more toward the bottom of that list, though.
I don't think Virgil beats Tim Tszyu. I think Tim Tszyu stops Virgil.
If you had a choice, money is no problem, all the politics, with all this Turkey stuff, who would be your next opponent for Virgil Ortiz?
My next opponent, I look at it like this. If I'm them, I would take the winner of Spence versus Fundora, because if you look at it, Fundora's been stopped. Spence is washed. And if he beats Fundora, you got to wash Spence in front of you. And you got a belt. You'll win a belt, an actual belt. And the Terrence Crawford fight would mean a lot more. You make a lot more money making a unification fight. I think they need to keep him away from Terrence because his stock will fall dramatically. And the only guy I would keep him there is Fundora or Spence right now. The WBC title is your main objective until you captured it.
Chicano Prophet says Spence again. Now I know Drew is protecting Bud. And by the way, we have 2 people who put in the chat their top 5. Appreciate that. Addy Meddy says Charles Conwell. I'm glad you brought up his name because he was on the card. I want to talk about him momentarily. Bud Crawford 2nd. Tim Tszyu 4. Madrimov 5. Fundora. And Remy says Jermell. That's shocking. Tim Tszyu, Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, and Fundora. Jermell all but seems like an afterthought now because I don't know what's the deal. Is he coming back from 168? How much weight did the guy gain? Can he even come back to 154? I mean, if that's the case, what about Castaño? Like, that guy really just disappeared, too. Like, I wouldn't put him on my list anymore. But thank you so much for those good list guys. Nerd says Tim Tszyu can't stop any good fighters.
Well, what the fuck do you think I listen to Nerd for? I ain't going to start listening to him now. I'm just saying.
By the way, Tim was right there with his manager, Glenn, that I had met with D-Style Boxing. And like I said, man, Turkey coming out there was a big shock. Holly Berry was in the building. That was a shock, seeing Holly Berry walking up and down the aisles. And in case you didn't know, I got some breaking news for you guys. And I don't know if Drew knows the breaking news. But a lot of guys are upset about this one. But, Chris Mannix was not at the fight for DAZN this weekend because Chris Mannix was busy getting married to Seniesa Estrada.
Yes,
she is off the Who even knew those two were a night? Who knew those two were dating? I told my wife in the car right now. She blew her top. She's like, what? Seniesa with that guy?
because she knew Drew wasn't in Drew's not in the West Coast and everything, so Drew couldn't do nothing, you know. And you know, I can't be everywhere, Dave, to stop this and everything, because I know if I was there, it wouldn't be Mr. Estrada, it would be Mrs. whatever the fuck my last name is.
To think we could have sent her an email and maybe have put a stop to that. I could have just go out with my co-host first before you make any decisions about getting married. Make sure this is the right guy. It didn't happen. It didn't pan out that way.
But like, here's the thing. And I look at like, I got really, I understand. I don't understand why the fuck was you trying to meet Tim Sue's manager over Holly Berry?
Oh no, I didn't go talk to either of those. I'm saying they were both there. They were sitting just not too far from me. I didn't. Holly Berry.
Wow.
A lot of guys think Holly Berry's a little too on the thin side. If Drew, a lot of guys think she's a little too thin. But we don't need to get into that. And by the way, Sinisa Mannix just sounds weird.
No, it's Chris Estrada. He took her name. Let's put it out there right now. He took her name. He's whipped.
Well, guys, that's the situation now. Spence is coming back to 154, and I'm shocked because Fundora with that fight with Tim Tszyu, his management, Samson, was telling him, we're going to honor this rematch. We didn't have a rematch in contract, but we're going to give it to Tim Tszyu. What happened to that? That's complete bullshit. Luckily for Tim Tszyu, even if he's not going to get the support of Turki Al-Sheikh, he's got a plan B, and it's a pretty damn good plan B. He doesn't need to fight Jesus Ramos Jr. I didn't like that fight. I didn't like Jesus going to Australia. Obviously, Erickson Lubin has no intent of fighting Tim Tszyu. He's ducked that fight twice. He's going to get the IBF opportunity going to purse bid any minute at the first week of September to fight Bakram for the IBF title. If he comes out victorious, if Tim gets a title back, why are we talking about Virgil and Bud when clearly I would rather see a unification match first? I want to see Crawford fighting a unification. Well, he don't have any time to waste fighting guys for interim titles, and I'm seeing people even on Twitter. It don't make no sense.
I think Turkey is acting salty a little bit, like, because the dude was hurt. Tim wasn't healed. He wasn't going to be healed enough to fight Virgil. And then when he came back, he's like, yo, I got a title opportunity and everything. He took that title opportunity, and you're getting salty because he took a title opportunity instead of an offer from you? You think everybody needs to take an offer from you and everything? Like, here's the thing. You shouldn't be salty or act childish when somebody doesn't take your offer. You just say, okay, we'll do business another time and everything. I understand Canelo's situation and everything, how he was and everything, but other fighters don't deserve that same treatment. They saw opportunities to get a belt, to hire the person in the future to grab a title belt, and he's doing the opportunity, and I don't see no problem with it. And I think the dude Turkey's got to stop acting salty. And if you want to be part of the boxing business, man, you need to stop acting a little fucking bitch and a little fucking kid and act like a fucking adult and realize you need them more than they need you.
Addy Medi's cracking me up. Chris Khalif, yeah. The gold medalist, by the way. Khalif, the gold medalist. Almost as disgraceful as Australia bringing out, what's that, ray gun out there to breakdance? Oh, my God. Almost as disgraceful. Shout out to Billy T. I appreciate you coming in here, brother. I appreciate that very much. So, Drew, the other person who was there was Sebastian Fundora and Gabriella. Gabriella was victorious, and we saw her walk right in front of my boy Fonzie. Took a picture with her, and I was trying to talk to her because I had interviewed her before, but there was so many people surrounding Sebastian Fundora. Tim Tszyu was in the building, as I mentioned.
I know what happened. Fonzie slipped his number into the boxing glove.
My boy Fonzie's single.
Smooth
Fonzie. If Chris Mannix could last Sinisa Estrada, maybe he can land to Gabriella.
Smooth move.
By the way, Charles Conwell, Drew. Charles Conwell is the guy who represented the Olympics. Speaking of the Olympics and Khalif, but Charles Conwell represented the U.S. 100%. He did fantastic in his Olympic class. And he has a very tragic story, guys, one that almost ended his boxing career. If you guys remember, Charles Conwell was the person who was in the fight with Patrick O'Day. Patrick O'Day is a fighter from the East Coast who was almost a part-time fighter. He had a day job and everything. Boxing was his life. And Patrick O'Day died in the ring as a result of his fight with Charles Conwell. Charles Conwell almost gave up everything. And if it wasn't for Patrick O'Day's family who told him, listen, our son loved the sport. He knew what the sport was about. My son wants you to keep going for your dreams. My son would want you to continue to pursue your dreams. Charles Conwell took a very long layoff. And he's back, and he's got a good promoter behind him. He fights on the undercard. He's the co-main attraction, and yet we don't really know how good he is. We know that, unfortunately, he's could kill you in the ring. That's a sad thing, Rest in peace to Patrick O'Day. That he's that good. He's that devastating. He's someone that we have to continue to look at. If you give Charles Conwell the right opportunity to shine, and I've talked to Lukey Boxing about this, Charles Conwell could easily be somebody that eventually is going to be in our conversation as a top 5 fighter at 154 and eventually maybe even get a title opportunity. Tons of experience, international, Olympic, professional. Like I said, man, we can't rule out Charles because he really is. He's that talented. We just don't know because we haven't seen him get to fight somebody like Tim Tszyu. We haven't even seen him fight Erickson Lubin, Jesus Ramos Jr. And, I can't even forget, but young Xander Zayas is going to be fighting soon. I don't know where he fits in the top 10, A long list, a great division, the best division in boxing right now. And it's a shame Errol Spence has to be included in the mix. Guy's coming off the biggest ass whooping of his life from Bud, and somehow he's getting a fight with Fundora.
Pound for pound for some goddamn.
Who? Errol Spence?
Yeah.
Oh, hell
I need
no.
I need someone that makes that fucking list. Give me a fucking goddamn good reason.
Nando says Conwell stops both Bud and Madrimov. Real talk, that's a great fight between Conwell and Madrimov. Madrimov having over 300 amateur fights. Also, probably, I think he was an Olympian. I mean, stylistically, dude, that's a great match between two people who have seen tons of amateur experience. Styles make fights. And Madrimov needs to get back in the mix, and Conwell needs a big name. Madrimov is now a name. In fact, Conwell stops Madrimov. All of a sudden, we're wondering, well, Conwell could stop Madrimov, but Terrence Bud Crawford went life and death with Madrimov in a boring fight.
Damn, Nando's saying fucking versus easy money for Fundora. God damn, Nando, you're an asshole.
Earlier in the chat, guys, I think it was Addie's mentioned, didn't Ryan Garcia beat Virgil Ortiz? Surprisingly, I think he beat him twice. Yeah, you're right. They fought at least 3 times. And to be honest, when Ryan Garcia comes back, I won't be surprised if he's at the top of the list at fighting a lot of these big names, just because he's built this big name with his stardom. I don't understand it. I don't understand the phenomenon that Ryan Garcia is. But yeah, once he gets back allowed into the sport of boxing, who knows what weight class he's going to be at. Maybe he just entirely skips 147. Maybe he'll contend at 147. At 147 while Drew walks away. Guys, you guys know that Brian Norman today was elevated to full champion status because Terrence Crawford finally let them know that I'm not coming back to 147. Brian Norman is now the newest 147-pound full champion. You also have Mario Barrios, and you got Drew's Philadelphia's Boots Ennis. They're 3 good fighters. I think Boots Ennis is the cream of the crop of that division. But even if Boots Ennis says eventually, okay, I'm not getting these unifications, Mario Barrios wants to fight, he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao, and Brian Norman is going to get a fight with Teofimo Lopez, who's been dying to move up and weight to 147. That's going to freeze out Boots Ennis from fighting any of these unification matches. It's going to be a really tough decision, but Boots Ennis might have to consider joining the hottest division in boxing and really find out how good he is, because at 154, you got all these killers. What do you guys think while Drew's away? He's not reading this chat, but what do you guys think of his Philadelphia fighter, Boots Ennis, coming into the fray at 154? He's not getting a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford. When he moves up to 154, he can get himself in the conversation, but he's going to have a lot of work himself to do to get a title fight. Addy Meddy says 147 is almost as bad as 160. Yeah, those two divisions are hot garbage right now. It's not that they don't have talent. Like Boots Ennis is really talented, but there's not much competition, especially at 160. Guys, I really was winging this show today. I just went to a dinner party on Fremont Street earlier today in downtown Las Vegas. I literally was like racing on the freeway. I was like, I could squeeze in the shoe shine today because I want to keep consistent on Monday nights. Now we got 1,000+ subscribers. I appreciate all of you. Raced over here to make this show happen. And I find out that at 160, this fight, that's the co-main for the Canelo Alvarez fight in September. The one that features another Philadelphia fighter, Danny Garcia, who's been out of the ring for 2 years. And Lara, the guy that gave Canelo a hell of a fight once upon a time. He's 40 years old, going on 41. That's a catchweight fight, guys. The co-main event for Canelo Alvarez is a catchweight fight at 157? The fuck kind of shit is that? That's not as bad, but it reminds me of when Canelo Alvarez when I wasn't a big fan of Canelo, when Canelo was like, hey, I'm a middleweight, but if you want to fight me, you got to fight me at 155, but I'm a middleweight. If you want to fight me, you got to fight me at 155. I wish Terrence Bud Crawford had the type of star appeal and the stardom and was an A-side player that could be someone that could tell Canelo, dude, if you want to fight me, you got to come down. You got to fight me at the super middleweight limit of 164, you know? Yeah, you got to fight me at 164. But that's what Canelo did. And in this co-main event between Lara, who was a 154-pound champion, and we've seen the best of Danny Garcia many, many years ago at 147, a catch weight of 157. But like you said, Addy, the 160 division is a hot mess, almost as bad as 147. 160 is up for grabs. And I've been saying this the past 2 weeks. If Terrence Bud Crawford wants to skip all this bullshit drama at 154, and he doesn't even want to deal with all this nonsense, he could just say, hey, I want to fight the winner of this fight between Lara and Danny Garcia. I mean, how easy? These are guys, one of them's washed up, over 40 years old. His legs aren't what they used to be. Sergio Maravilla Martinez, one of my favorite middleweights of all time, at 160, when he was 40 years old. You guys remember he busted his knee? He was a shadow of his former self, man. Cotto beat his ass. It was sad. He didn't have them legs anymore. I suspect Lara, as good as he is of an athlete, a Cuban athlete, Cuban mover, those legs ain't going to be what they used to be. Terrence Bud Crawford could easily beat him. What do you guys think? I think Terrence Bud Crawford obviously probably stops Danny Garcia, who's got tons of ring rust. Hey, shout out Jimenez Video Productions. What's good, buddy? Preseason football is right around the corner. Sonteo Media says Beeb versus Montero, catchweight 196. I don't think Beeb wants that smoke. Come on, man. You see Montero's physique? Unless there's something I don't know, Beeb, no offense, but if Beeb takes off his shirt and looks identical to, well, he is on Beeb does admit to be on some type of juice, right? He's admitted that. Beeb, Joe Habib. So that means it says Beeb versus.
What are we talking about? Him being on juice?
Well, we're talking about catch weights right now, and Nando says Beeb versus Montero, a catch weight of 196. Wow, I don't even want to tell you guys what I weigh right now, man. If that's what. I
weigh 210. So
you weigh 210?
Yeah, I'm weighing at 210 right now. Like I gotta be honest. Let's look at it like this.
I'm 210. I'm 210, Drew.
Look at it like,
Drew, Evo, and I weigh exactly the same.
I look at it like this. I saw a fucking video of Rick Glazer, man. Damn, that motherfucker's fat. It makes me almost as proud as G Funky's not that fat.
Man, what'd you say? Oh, dude, that's cold-blooded. Come on, man. Let's not bring up. I did see. See him too. And you know something, Drew? He wasn't wearing any socks. Like I don't understand.
That's even fucking worse. Why the fuck are you wearing dress shoes with no fucking socks? Rick, get your fucking life together, man. I know you still drink vouchers and everything, and like, come on now. I know you burn bridges with a bunch of motherfuckers, but at least wear some fucking socks with your fucking dress shoe.
Hey, shout out to people who gave us these commemorative El Mexicano, and on the back, the front says El Mexicano, but the backside says Bocachuck. So I don't fucking like what the hell. This says Mexicano on the back. It says Bocachuck. Oh man, that was it, man. That was a great fight. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's gonna be hard to beat that one. It was almost a draw. I would not mind seeing a rematch, but you know how it goes. At this time right now, Bocachuck versus Madrimov. I'm good with that. These guys are scary fighters for anybody in that division. I'm going to make sure I keep this until Mexican Independence Day. And I'll walk around downtown Fremont Street with this shit for Canelo Alvarez weekend. But let's talk about the other fight, Drew. Let's talk about the fight that I missed that I was completely wrong on. I've been high on El Venado Lopez. I just saw a good friend of the show from Salinas, California, Ruben Villa, get upset by this African fighter named Sagawa. Like, that was a complete shock in front of a lot of pro Ruben Villa crowd in Las Vegas at the Palms 3 weeks ago. That ended his dream right now of a 126 title opportunity. I think Top Rank was fixing on him fighting El Venado Lopez. That's why they had signed a multi-fight deal with him. El Venado Lopez gets knocked out in what has to be one of the scariest knockdowns. That's Virgil, obviously. Where's the other one? Well, I guess I don't have it here, but man, that knockout was vicious in a knockout of the year performance for Angelo Leo. Angelo Leo came from New Mexico or Arizona, but he came to Las Vegas, guys, and was living in his car. And the only other person I know of that had it that bad was a fighter from Philadelphia. I'm talking about what's his name? Woo! That's the only other guy I know who came to Vegas and was living in his car. Actually, I think not only did he live in his car, but the Canadian fighter that Chicano Prophet interviewed that was going to fight Boots Ennis, Crawley, he also lived in his car for a quick minute when he came to Las Vegas as a fighter. Angelo Leo goes from being dumped by PBC, being a 122-pound champion, and getting dumped. Like, PBC had to cut their roster, and they cut him. He ends up at Pro Box. And from Pro Box, man, bless his soul, man. He gets an opportunity to fight for a world title in the next weight class and does the unthinkable and puts an end. He put an end to the great legend of El Venado Lopez. Unbelievable stuff. I got to give him his respect and credit, Drew. And from what I'm hearing, a potential fight with Inoue, he might be the guy to score the 126, what they would call the lottery ticket to fight Inoue. And this guy, he don't give a shit. Angelo Leo's going to go over to Japan. He don't care. We just saw another Mexican fighter go to Japan and get the big payday. I hope he does get his blessings and gets all that, man, because this is a guy who's came from nothing and is now a 2-division world champion. Good for Leo, says Nando Lamas. Yeah, man, all the respect to him. Drew, what'd you think of that knockout, man? That was 10 rounds. It was a very competitive matchup, but El Venado Lopez got exposed, not for the first time. Like I said, he lost to Ruben Villa many years ago. It was the last time he lost the fight. But he kind of got exposed. All his flaws were out there to be seen in a very bad fashion when he ended up on the floor unconscious like that.
I thought he took the dude too lightly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Here's that knockout picture, guys. It's incredible. I mean, you could see why the people are calling this knockout of the year. His eyes are open, his mouth is open, but he's basically unconscious he was unconscious for a few seconds there. Very scary stuff. yeah, Drew doing his best impression.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, Billy T says, I love the comeback story. El Venado Lopez had a great story of his own. This guy comes to Top Rank. I said this on the roundtable, Drew. He came to Top Rank having a loss on his record from Showbox. He lost to Ruben Villa. And he gets to fight a fighter from when I lived in San Jose, Andy Vences, El Tiburon Vences. During the pandemic, they didn't think he was going to beat Andy Vences. He's not the house fighter. He ends up coming over there to Top Rank. and beats Andy Vences. They're like, wow, that was pretty good. Hey, I got another guy. If you want to fight another guy on Top Rank, and you're not going to beat him because his name is Gabe Flores from Stockton, California. And he's one of our top picks, top prospects. You're not going to beat Gabe Flores. And he nearly beats the shit out of him and kills Gabe Flores. His dad wouldn't even throw in the towel. His dad was like, no, keep fighting, son. And now Gabe Flores is back in Stockton. Yeah, so much for his Top Rank career. After that, Elvinado Lopez beat who? Mick Conlon goes to the UK. Who else he beat? He beat everybody on the road. And it all came to a dramatic ending this Saturday night while I'm at the Mandalay Bay Casino. The great run ends right here. Shame, but a fantastic run at featherweight nonetheless.
What a terrible fucking way to end it.
H2O Silva had the inside out emotions on this thanks to trying to reboot him. Addy Medi, yeah.
I'm sorry. If you nickname yourself H2O after water and you don't have a meaning behind that fucking name, then I'm hoping you get knocked out. Because it probably puts you back to some fucking reality or something. Or at least get your mind right on shit. Because that motherfucker must have been high as shit when he named himself that.
Nando says, Gabe Flores, the poster child for Top Rank, ESPN, Hype. I'm presuming you mean Hype gone wrong because he's back in Stockton. But, hey, credit to him. He's doing well selling tickets in Stockton. I know he just sold at least 7,500 people to see him fight a...
yeah, that's what... Gabe
basically
Flores is my man, no pause favorite fighter, man. Don't disrespect my no pause favorite fighter, Gabe Flores.
The African fighter that beat Ruben Villa several weeks ago at the Palms Casino, his name is Sagawa. He just got himself another opportunity. Top Rank liked him so much. They're like, well, that was pretty damn good, bro. How about you fight, I can't pronounce his name, Shushu Carrington? Because that's their hype job right now at featherweight. They're saying Shushu Carrington's their next champion. You know, and they got a lot of guys there. They still got the Cuban guy, Robeisy Ramirez, the former gold medalist. I hear he's going to get an opportunity to get a rematch against the 6-foot-tall Mexican Rafael Espinoza. That was a pretty good fight up until Rafael Espinoza came back and took that title from him, man. The featherweight division is hot, guys, and once Inoue moves up in weight, oh, shit, he's going to shake things up big time, man. And I think he's going to make his effort once he's ready to clean out the featherweight division. But, Drew, if you got Angelo Leo, he's the newest addition to featherweight champion. You've got this, he represents Chicanos. You got Rafael Espinoza, a 6-foot-tall Mexican guy that somehow makes 126 pounds. Who else do you got at 126 right now? Elvinado Lopez is out.
Got Fulton. You got Vargas. You got Nick Ball. I think Nick Ball is going to be
Didn't Nick Ball just get the championship? Nick Ball's one of the champions.
I think Nick Ball is going to be hard to beat. I don't care what anybody says. Nick Ball is going to be a hard motherfucker to beat.
Yeah, and I like that fight.
Short motherfucker, man.
Yeah, I like that fight. Nick Ball versus Angelo Leo. I like that fight a lot. Obviously, I thought Elvinado Lopez.
To the midgets.
Yeah, I thought Elvinado Lopez would have had a fantastic fight with Nick Ball, and maybe we'll still see that fight. I mean, yeah, he got knocked out, but we've seen Errol Spence get his ass whooped, and somehow he's getting a title opportunity in his very next fight. It don't make any sense to me. Boxing is that way. Nando says Xander is next. Top Rank is lining him up for the... Yeah, that's an awful fight, man. Melnecki, who left PBC, he got beaten by basically a Philadelphia gym rat. Remember that, Drew? He's taken a loss. The guy was from Philadelphia, and he roughed up Melnecki. Melnecki wasn't even ready for a Philadelphia fighter. He's got that blemish on his record, and now they're talking about Xander versus Melnecki. Why? Because you guys don't look at Xander as someone able to compete with Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz, Bohacek, Madrimov. Like, then what is he? If he's not your future Puerto Rican star, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have him go backwards and regress and fight somebody like Melnecki. Melnecki reminds me of the PBC fighter that Jesus Ramos Jr. beat. Remember there was a guy, Spence, what was his name? Spencer? Remember that guy? That was a hype job, big time PBC hype job. And Jesus Ramos Jr. whooped on that dude. Yep. Xander and Keyshawn are a couple of feather-fisted hype jobs. Sheesh. He's being rough today, man.
underneath Jesus.
Yeah. Well, Drew, I don't have anything lined up, guys. There are some really big fights this weekend, some good ones. But I didn't prepare for the show like I normally did. Like I said, guys, I just came from a dinner party. But we're gonna do a catch-up show, Drew. If we can get another one together this Wednesday or Thursday, I'm all on board, and we'll talk about the fights coming up this weekend. Please let me know, guys, in the chat. What was your favorite fight of the weekend? Was your favorite moment watching the Virgil Ortiz fight, or was it the end of Elvinado Lopez's championship reign at featherweight? And who do you want to see Angelo Leo, defend his newly crowned title against first? Drew, who do you want to see Angelo Leo against?
I like to see Nick Ball.
Nick Ball,
Yep.
It is. Man, it's been a good show, guys. It's been a short show today, but we're going to come back, like I said, Wednesday. We're going to have more content for you, and we're definitely going to be kicking off football preseason talk very, very soon. I've seen a lot of fans out there tonight in downtown Las Vegas, man. In fact, I got hooked up with a drink because the bartender said, "Oh, hold up," and he had to go get his 49ers hat. So shout out to that bartender at Fort Queens for hooking me up with some fat drinks today.
Yeah, thank God they didn't say nothing about Brandon Ayuk. He'll lose that drink in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's it. That's the fight. M. Billy versus Derevchenko this weekend on Top Rank, and I saw the card, guys. We're going to go ahead and do a short show on that for this weekend. And I need to see M. Billy take care of old-ass Derevchenko, man. Come on now.
Yeah, he should take care of him. I don't know.
He's the younger fighter. Derevchenko's been through a ton of. He got some high mileage. He just got, in the fight. He had one of the best fights with Jaime Munguia, but that must have taken a lot out of him. I appreciate you, Nando, and everybody in the chat. Drew, your final words before we go?
Guys, you gotta look at it like this. Enjoy these boxing fights while you can, because every day shows that boxing is on a decline. And it's true. Boxing is on a decline. And when Canelo retires, there's nobody that can replace Canelo.
Interesting.
Canelo's on that 3 minute route now. And what do we got after Canelo Alvarez? Tank Davis does 200,000 pay-per-view buys. Ryan Garcia, dude can't shut the fuck up. Dude can't fucking dude can't stay active and stay fucking off fucking drugs. Joshua's on Fury's on his way out. Usyk's on his way out. Who do we have left that can be somewhat of a face? Nobody. Boxing is on a decline, and it's never gonna come back. It's never gonna get to the level it was 10 years ago. Never, ever. But
I'm not going to be that pessimistic. We just hit 1,000 subs, and we just saw Holly Berry. We just saw Holly Berry ringside, Drew. Something's going on.
You did.
Hollywood is getting excited about the fisticuffs. So, man, I appreciate you, Drew. I got to wrap this one up. We're going to be back later on this week, so make sure you hit the notifications. Thank you all to everyone that subscribed. I'm Dave in the 702, Philly Irish Drew Evil. I'll see you later, homie. Peace out.